Hey you, it's Jess here and welcome to Planmas. I think this is the second video on Planmas and we're going to be setting up my December reading journal spread, and I am using a few stickers. I have this Thumbelina print December script that I can color in, and then I have these sheets of Christmas designs from Marigona Sully, and we're going to bring in all of the Christmas cats because they're so adorable. And I'm also using this sheet of torn letter pages from Scribble Prints Co, as well as these tombos, which I thought matched the Christmas set pretty well. Let me show you in a second. Here you go. I thought they matched pretty good. Now we're going to be drawing up the calendar, as well as these, and I'm using a Copic multiliner, although I don't think I used it at all yet in this spread. I will be using it later to write my reviews and things in. But yeah, we're going to get into decorating. And the main page is going to have a calendar. I was thinking it's a larger calendar than I have done before. And I was thinking, some Simply Gilded washi. I forgot to show those. So I'm using a bigger calendar than usual because I was thinking I might try and do that progress thing where you put in lines using Tombow or a pen to mark how long you took to read a book, and you can see how you can just physically see it on the calendar, a progress bar across the dates. So I thought I might try that out this time. We'll see how it goes. And then I'm also doing a little TBR list and also a list of Christmas movies or winter movies to watch as well on the sidebar, and I'm going to make them into cute little scrolly papers. But I'm also, with my Tombow, going to make a ton of gingham patterns. It just felt right to do gingham patterns throughout to really make it Christmassy. But we're going to be layering up this Simply Gilded washi. This is just one of her older book designs, as well as an older red with gold foil. I just went through my old washi collection and pulled out what I had, and I thought this book washi, the brown isn't quite right, but I feel like it still works, I think, within the theme and colors of the spread. So I'm just going to color in using the red, the December here, and I'm going to do it very messily, but it'll be fine. It looks fine from afar. So I am going to be doing a second page in this setup where I'm going to do my little reviews, and I'm going to be using a Scribble Prints Co Christmas Reading Challenge sticker sheet that I don't actually have yet. I'm not going to get it until my December haul, I'm afraid. But I did ask Andrea, and she said the stickers are a similar size to the Halloween reading challenge that she had, so I just set up the page pretty much the same dimensions that I did for my Halloween reading challenge. So I'm going to set that all up, and all I'm going to have to do when that sheet comes in is put the header in and put the baubles that you color in to fill out the that you fill out the challenge part of that, and then I'll just print off some little book covers to go onto the sections as well. So I think it's going to be all good, but I can tell you now what I'm going to be reading in December. I decided just to do my TBR straight from that reading challenge because it wasn't actually too difficult to put it together. I'm just going to use my dark brown Tombow here to do all of the line art as well, and you will see that I'm going to mess up one of the lines, and I'm going to have to use whiteout to clean it up. I do a few errors in this setup, but I think that's fine. Nothing has to be perfect. This error here that I'm going to make soon on the horizontal lines, I'm going to use whiteout, and then later on I made a mistake where I wanted which box I wanted to be my TBR and which one I wanted to be my movies, because one of those boxes on the side only has room for 5 dot points. Oh, there we go. I've messed it up. Only has room for 5 dot points. The other one has 6, and I labeled them the wrong way around because I need 6 for the reading challenge. So yeah, I'm going to end up using whiteout first, but it doesn't really work, so I use it leftover planner, like actual dot point planner pages, and glued it on to cover that, and I think that worked better than whiteout, or even I just tried sticker paper, but you can see the line straight through. So moving on, I'll probably point that out when we get to it again. But moving on, we have my December TBR. So from the reading challenge, there's the red or green cover, and I chose for that I don't have the all of the authors beside me, so I apologize. But we have the book The Ballad of Black Tom. I'll put the books and the authors down below in the description so you can look at them if you want. But I'm using The Ballad of Black Tom for red or green cover because the cover's actually pretty red when you look at it. So it's like big red lettering across the front. So I'm going to read that. And then we have Snowy Setting, and I chose the Rabbitback Literary Society, or Literature Society. I put Lit Society. It's literature or literary. It will be down below. And this is a Finnish author. And I didn't want to like spoil myself too much what this book is about. My partner randomly bought it. And it says that it's a group of people stuck in a snowstorm. So I'm like, perfect, snowy setting. Then we have a book for set at Christmas, and I'm going to read The Green Knight, and I'm going to read the Tolkien edition, like the version that he wrote of The Green Knight, and then the audiobook of it on Audible is read by Terry Jones, who's like the best Monty Python member. But anyway, well, they're all fine, really, but I love Terry Jones and his love for medieval things. But yeah, so I'm going to read that because The Green Knight is about a Christmas game, and it's set at 2 Christmases technically. So I'm going to read that, and that'll be great. And then I have a gifted book, and I'm going to read one of the graphic novels that Andrea of Scribble Prints Co. Gifted me for my birthday. Probably the one written by the McElroys. I haven't gone up out of my chair to go and check on my bookshelf what it's called, but that's probably the gifted book I'm going to read for this challenge. Then we have holiday short story, and I really tried to find something that's like maybe sci-fi or fantasy, or it wasn't. The sci-fi ones are kind of hard to get, so I'm just going to do one of those holiday short stories that Amazon Collections just released, and seemingly everyone seems to like the Ali Hazelwood one called Cruel Winter with You. So I'm going to read that, but I don't think it's gonna rate highly. I'm just going to read it for the challenge because I am not into romance. So that'll just be a fun little romp for me. Something different. I don't know, we'll see. I'm going to go in it with, with no biases and just try and read it for what it is, and we'll see how it goes. And then finally, I have the last of the challenge prompts is a book published in December, and I'm going to be doing Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson because it comes out in the beginning of December, and it's probably going to take like all month to read it. So a lot of the other books that I put in there are pretty short. So like The Green Knight's only a 4-hour long audiobook because we've got short stories, graphic novels. So yeah, I think a lot of my reading will actually just be Wind and Truth for this month. But that is perfect for the challenge, published in December. So that's my big book for this month. And I'm excited about that. But as you can see here, I'm adding all my little ginghams, and I'm going to add a green gingham to the calendar for the books that are not in the month. Now I'm going to quickly go over the books that I've read so far in November. I'm afraid I'm doing this video pretty early. It's like November 17th, so I'm not entirely through all of my books, but most of them. So I'm going to go through what I've finished and then what I'm working on right now. So I read The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty, and I gave this 4.75 stars. It was just about a 5-star book, but there were parts of it that I felt it dragged a little bit in the tiniest parts here and there for me. And I was just like, when's this part gonna end? But if you've read the book, it's mostly the stuff on the island, if you know what I'm talking about. I was just like, yeah, move on. But not in a terrible way, just in a okay. But I still really loved it. I love how we had, I always just love it when fantasy books have, and other books as well, where the character is a middle-aged woman, she's a mother, she's dealing with a whole lot of this kind of thing. I love it so much. This is obviously, it's a fantasy, but it's also based in 12th century. It's sort of a mix of African, South Asian, Arabic countries, so down in the Indian Ocean, I believe it is. Oh, apologies, I haven't looked at my geography for a while. But it's down in that region. So I think Amina she says she lives in Yemen, but they do go to the coast of Africa and a few different places. And I thought it was just a really cool setting. And I know that Shannon did a lot of research of how to make it more historically accurate while being a fantasy. But I really, really enjoyed those aspects of it and getting more glimpse of the region's history as well at that time. Yeah, really enjoyed it, especially because a lot of my history research, if you don't really follow me, I do have a history PhD, but that is in British history. And obviously a lot of history that I've learned at uni was European focused. So it's nice to do a little bit more, a different aspect and different side of stories, especially of opinions of the Crusades and stuff. So I really enjoyed that. A pirate fantasy with a very I really enjoyed Amina as a character, and she's oh my god, she's kind of thirsty for dudes, which is kind of hilarious. Especially because I read so many books recently which are more sapphic or gay, and so it was kind of funny to read a book of someone who's pretty straight and pretty into men. I did enjoy that. I enjoyed both, but it was kind of funny. And then I also finished The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. And oh my gosh, I give this full 5 stars. What a book. It's hard to describe how it works. It's just, you kind of start it and you're what is happening? I thought this was a fantasy, like a higher fantasy. It has a narrative device of this character's Lola, telling him these stories about the old country, and the old country is quite fantastical in the stories. And so that's the narrative device, and then the stories then you get into the stories, and that's part of and you kind of weave in and out between the narrative device and the fantastical story, and they kind of work together. I know it was quite an amazing book. Beautiful language, very intense story. There's a lot of there's a little bit of grimdark in there, Game of Thronesy feeling things in there, but I really did enjoy our main 2 protagonists. I guess there's 3 for a while, but the main 2 that we have is our protagonist, and then you dip into other people as well. And it has this really cool narrative thing where, you pass the shop owner on the street, and then you'll get a little glimpse. In italics in the book, it'll have the thoughts of the shop owner just for a second, as you're passing through. And I kind of really enjoyed, you got little insights into other people's point of view for a sentence. Yeah, so I gave that 5 stars. I highly recommend it if you haven't read it yet. The Spear Cuts Through Water is crazy, and I really enjoyed it. And I do have Simon's other book, The Vanished Birds, on my TBR for 2025. But I'll just stop for a second to talk about what we're doing here. We are setting up the reading challenge and review page, and I'm going to end up doing 6 boxes just like I did in my Halloween spread. Well, not the same. I'm going to draw actual boxes, and I'm going to fill them with gingham. because I love that look, whereas this is more loosey-goosey. But I don't have the sticker sheet with me to do it loosey-goosey this time, so I'm going to put in the boxes so I'm prepared and have my spaces ready. So what I also read was, let me have a look, Just Beyond Jupiter's Reach by Nyadi Okorafor, and this was a short story. It was included in an Amazon collection, and I wanted a book that starts with J for my alphabet challenge. So I thought I'd go with that one, and then next year I'm going to read The Justice of Kings to do my J. But so this is just a short story, and it's a little sci-fi short story, and I actually really enjoyed it. What did I give it? I think I gave it 4 stars, and this was about, I don't want to talk too much because short stories, I feel like, we just go in and read it, but it is about a, it's Afrofuturism, so we're set in Africa, and our main character is Nigerian, and she has won a they've created spaceships that are like living creatures. They're sentient living creature spaceships, and you had to have matching DNA to be able to fly them. So like 60% of humanity put in their applications to go on these spaceships, and 7 people's DNA matched the ships. And so then they all have their own individual ship, and then they have to fly around space for 10 years separately. They're not allowed to talk to each other or interact for 10 years alone in their spaceships. And if they come back to Earth and they followed all the rules, at the end of 10 years, they get 20 million euros. So, everyone wanted to do it. So we go with a character who has chosen to do this. And then after, at the 5-year mark, the science committee or whoever's running the spaceship program has allowed these 7 spaceships to meet up and see each other for the first time and communicate and hang out for like a week. And that's it. And then they have to separate for another 5 years. So and they're all meeting at Jupiter, just outside of Jupiter. So then things occur. So that's what the story is about. I gave it 4 stars because I did enjoy it. And it was interesting. It was like both, it starts off more of the space tech, and then it ends up more about characters. And I do like a short story format, so I don't know, I thought that was really interesting. And it'd be cool if she writes some more of this world. Maybe she will. But I know she wrote the Binti books, which we do have, so I will read those at some point. And then currently I'm in the middle of reading Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. This is one of the Cosmere books. And I'm halfway through it, and I'm really enjoying it right now. This is like a completely different world compared to the main series. So, you've got Mistborn, which is on Scadrial. You have Stormlight Archive, which is on Roshar. And then this book is, I can't remember what the planet is called, or the place. But this is a different planet, and they have a different magic system. And this magic system is based on colors and breaths. They call it breath, and it's like everyone is born with one breath, but you can give that breath away by using a specific command, and you can give it to other people, and anyone is able to collect multiple breaths. Of course, that means you're collecting someone's soul breath, and you can't really, you can get them back, but that means you're just swapping breaths with other people. And if you don't have a breath, you're called a drab, because when you have more and more breaths, you actually discern color and music better. So there's a lot of color magic and being able to hear perfect pitch and be able to see different kinds of colors at different levels that you may have amount of breaths that you have. So I know, I thought that was a really cool magic system. So a lot of the stuff in the world is based on art and music, because that's what you enjoy when you have lots of breaths. And you sort of have this world where everyone's got their one breath, but then you also have this group of 25 people who are considered gods by one group of people. And they have a lot of breaths, and they actually died and came back to life because of how much breath they have. Anyway, there's this whole system, and then there's like a god king, and he has like 50,000 breaths or something. And then our main characters are two sisters, Vivenna and Ciri, and they are princesses from a different kingdom who don't actually believe in these gods. They don't believe in collecting breaths. You know, your one breath is what's important to them. And yeah, so you're just following these two sisters, and they have to go on these big adventures, obviously, into this other place, in this other country with these god-like people with lots of breaths and lots of power. And there's some political intrigue in there. You've just got like, you know, you've got royal intrigue, lots of things going on. But I did like how the two main characters are really women. And then you also have two male characters, Lightsong and Vasha as well. So I've been really enjoying it. I'm only like halfway through. We've already had like one of the big twists reveals, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, Brando! And also Warbreaker is considered his more risky book. There's a little bit more spice. Not like real spice, but spicier than his other books. There's more romance, I should say, than his others. And yeah, I've been enjoying it. There's been a couple times where I've been like, oh my gosh, clutching my pearls, Brando. Because he doesn't usually write that way. But here we're getting up to the end of the spread. When I finish Warbreaker, I'm going to read Ancillary Justice by Anne Leckie. But I don't know I know that's a sci-fi, I think. But I haven't gotten to that book yet. But that will be the rest of my month. And I don't really plan on reading too many other books until December. I'll probably get started on my December reading challenge after the Anne Leckie book. But you can see how I put just before that paper to cover up those words so I could change which list is which on those little papers. But yeah, I'm loving how this is coming out. The gingham makes it feel so cozy to me. And I'm just using the brown pen to actually write in these things. I guess I forgot about my Copic, but I think the brown pen actually stands out better over the gingham. So I'm just putting in a few of my books here for the challenge on my to be read, and then I'll just put in two of the Christmas movies I thought of on the top of my head, Arthur Christmas and Little Women. Well, Little Women, I know, it just feels like a Christmas movie, right? But otherwise I've got room to write some more as well in a minute. But yeah, that is a finished spread, and I love the way they both came out. I'm going to add a little bit more stickers here in a second. But yeah, can't wait for that reading challenge sticker set to come in so I can really finish up the second page. But I think it's really coming together, and I think it really pops. November is a bit more simple, whereas I just really love making patterns out of Tombow markers. It just looks so good to me. So let me know, are you reading anything? Are you planning to read anything specific in December? Are you going to do the Scribble Prints Co reading challenge for Christmas, or do you have your own reading challenges? Let me know. Otherwise, what did you read in November? Anything really good? Anything really bad? I would love to chat with you about books below. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the spread and watching me put everything together. Don't forget, Planmas continues. There's going to be 25 videos through the 25th, and then probably a few more. Oh, I'm going to have a double spread here for Wind and Truth later. I'm going to have a page for notes and while I'm reading it, and a page for review afterwards. But I'm going to set that up another time. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a wonderful day. But yeah, like and subscribe. Definitely stick around for Planmas. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. I love you. Bye-bye. I love you. Bye.